Hey, howdy, nerd geeks. Today we're going to be looking at one of the latest games to hit the market for 40k lovers. But this game's charm doesn't come from 4K graphics or large-scale assaults and warfare. Instead, this game pays homage to the classics of the 90s that jump-started the FPS genre. That's right. Today's video is on everyone's favorite boomer shooter, Warhammer 40k Boltgun. So grab your beaked helmets and strap into your drop pods and let's jump into it. Okay, so chances are that if you're watching this video, you are pretty familiar with Games Workshop and their associated product lines and settings. But, just in case you happen to live under a rock or something, let me sum up the Warhammer 40k universe with that IP's official tagline.
In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
And that's pretty much all you have to know. I'm just kidding, there's plenty of lore to go around. But to sum it up, it is the 41st millennium, and the Imperium of Man is struggling to survive in the galaxy as its existence, and by and large that of humanity as a whole, is threatened by the constant incursions of alien races such as orcs, necrons, and tyranids, and the occasional tussle with an envoy of Eldari. But perhaps humanity's biggest threat are the followers of the demon gods Khorne, Nurgle, Tzeentch, and Slaanesh. That's right, I'm talking about the Forces of Chaos. And that's where this game comes in. In Boltgun, you are Malum Kaido, Sternguard veteran of the Ultramarines First Company, and the lone survivor after your squad's drop pod crash lands on the planet Greya during a mission from the Inquisition to retrieve a chaos power source that has caused problems on the planet in the past. After a quick tutorial level, your mission really begins, and it's pretty straightforward. Find the power source and kill as many cultists, heretics, and demons along the way. As Kaido, you will fight through 24 levels over 3 chapters as you purge the planet of chaos and its influence. During your mission, you will encounter Chaos Space Marines, Pink and Blue Horrors, Exalted Flamers, yes, that's what they're actually called, and Chaos Demons such as some great unclean ones of Nurgle and a few Lords of Change from Tzeentch, until ultimately you are able to claim your prize and, presumably, save the planet. Now, that's all awesome and great, but we have to ask the question, is it any fun? And more importantly, is it worth your hard-earned cash? Well, the answer to those questions are yes and maybe. So Boltgun is a retro-style first-person shooter which takes heavy influence from 90s-era shooters like Doom and Wolfenstein, and it's also a pseudo-sequel to the 2011 action game Warhammer 40k Space Marine. Now, if you are familiar with a lot of the video games in the 40k universe, you'll know that most releases tend to focus on tactical strategy, and only in the past few years has there really been a rising trend of FPS releases for the Games Workshop IPs, the most notable probably being the Vermintide games. You'll also note that a lot of the games tend to be subpar, knockoffs, or subpar knockoffs, and while some people may want to call this a knockoff of the early Doom games, I would be hard-pressed to call it subpar. In fact, I think it is unintentionally one of the greatest 40k games ever made. The game itself is essentially a clone of early Doom, with the 40k skin dropped on top of it with the graphics most resembling Doom 64. The gameplay itself is pretty easy to get the hang of and is simple to understand. Shoot your way from one end of the level to the other while collecting upgrades and secret buffs along the way. There are also plenty of fun weapons to collect, including a shotgun, heavy bolter, and plasma cannon to help blast your enemies back to the warp where they belong. And there is certainly no shortage of action to be had along the way as you carry out your mission. Now, while there has been criticism levied toward the enemy AI and some of their movements when trying to attack you, it's not really enough of an issue to break the game. It's also important to remember that this is an indie tie-in game and not a AAA release like the upcoming Space Marine 2, nor is it very time-consuming like the RPGs Rogue Trader or Inquisitor Martyr. In fact, Boltgun can be completed usually in about 8 to 10 hours. However, despite this short length, the game does have a high replayability factor that must be considered when looking at this game. For instance, You can attempt to find all secrets in a level, some of which are hidden behind walls that you have to activate, try to attain 100% kill ratings, or even conduct speedruns on the Exterminatus difficulty. And if you just want the challenge of taking on and killing as many Chaos baddies as possible, there is a brand new Horde mode in which you can test your might to both your Chaos-hating Space Marine heart's contents. There's 2 hearts. Space Marines have 2 hearts. That's why I said that. When considering all of these factors, this channel gives Warhammer 40k Boltgun an 8 out of 10 for its enjoyable gameplay, replayability factor, and its value of cost, as its regular price is around $22 and is sometimes on sale for as low as $14. And to top it off, its recently released DLC, Forges of Corruption, is only $6. Overall, 40k Boltgun, while maybe not a Game of the Year candidate, certainly is a fun and exciting shooter whose dev team worked hard to create a game that's both enjoyable and fulfilling to fans of both classic shooters and the 40k universe. If you fall into either of those categories, then you will enjoy this game. And if you don't, then who cares? Why'd you click on this video? Now, if you enjoyed this video, then do your duty and smash that like button, as each click sends a donation of 1 bolter round to the arsenal of Malum Kaido so that he may continue his holy mission of purging Greya of the influence of chaos. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and join the Legion as we continue our growth into one of the greatest chapters of the Imperium. And, as always, may the Emperor guide your hand.